Here's your podcast script. What I learned about masculinity at a Thai kickboxing school, that's the headline from the New York Times, and it's a story that's equal parts travel writing, self-examination, and a pretty honest reckoning with what it means to be a man in a body that's pushing 50. Writer Dan Brooks headed to Phuket, Thailand, to spend time at Tiger Muay Thai and Mixed Martial Arts, one of the most well-known combat sports training camps in the world. The setup is straightforward. For around $1,300, you get a month of living and training at Tiger, capped off by an actual fight against another student. 3 rounds, in a ring, in front of a crowd, or until someone can't continue. Brooks went in with a plan. He told his editors he'd write about the global phenomenon of Thai kickboxing and the notoriously grueling Tiger training program. What he kept to himself was a fantasy that he'd discover he was a natural, someone with hidden talent and a paradoxically strong work ethic that would let him outcompete other men, and maybe some women too, despite being, as he puts it, 48 years old through no fault of his own. That fantasy did not survive contact with reality. What Tiger actually gave him was a reintroduction to what he calls the basic problems of embodiment, the simple, humbling fact of existing in a physical body with limits. Brooks has a long history with combat sports. He caught the Taekwondo wave in the late 80s, wrestled at 98 pounds, poorly, by his own admission, dabbled in competitive striking, and trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu until his body called time at age 31. Broken hand. Detached labrum. Torn abdominal muscles. The body keeps score. So why come back to it at 48? Brooks gives 2 reasons. The first, he says bullies, drunks, and street weirdos have always been drawn to him, though he acknowledges that might just be paranoia. The second reason, which he says he prefers to focus on, cuts a little deeper. He didn't want the most formative experiences of his life to already be behind him. He wanted to keep changing as a person and as a body. To get better instead of worse. To push back against what he calls the domination of age. There's something quietly vulnerable in that framing. He draws a parallel between elderly vulnerability and the vulnerability of childhood, both conditions where you're subject to the physical power of others, and says the prospect of one day being elderly made him want to delay that kind of helplessness as long as possible. His life, he writes, got better when he became confident that other men could not simply reach out and hurt him. That's the core of it, really. Not trophies, not a highlight reel, not even fitness in the conventional sense. It's about the psychological weight of feeling physically safe in the world and what a person will put their 48-year-old body through to hold on to that feeling a little longer. And that's your story for today, a reminder that sometimes we go looking for a fight and end up finding something about ourselves instead. Approximate read time * 3.5 minutes at a comfortable podcast pace.